Hi, today we are going to see the Stotram 90th. Anubrihat Krishastulo Guna Brihinir Guno Mahan Adridaswadridaswashya Pragvamsho Vamshavardhanaha Anubrihat Krishastulo Guna Brihinir Guno Mahan Adridaswadridaswashya Pragvamsho Vamshavardhanaha. Anu. Anu means the atom or the smallest part. That is called subtlest part. So, which can be anywhere, which does not take much space. That's why it's called Anu. So, he is all pervading. Bhagavan is all pervading. And he is the flame of life in our bosom. So, that essence that is as small as an atom, but its effect, it's like creating all the life activities in the universe. So, Bhagavan is considered to be the center of even subtlest atom. Anu is considered to be the center of anything. It's a nucleus. Atom, it is considered to be the smallest part. But its effect is, it is seated in the heart of everybody, but our action is controlled by our mind. So it is the core or essence of all the activities that we do. So that's why Bhagavan is called Anu, because he is like a space who can be present in anywhere at any time. Next one is Brihat. Bhagavan is called Brihat because he can be seen in different places at the same time. Because here the term will be coming in opposites. So once we come to a certain level, Rishis will teach the students that the Bhagavan is opposite. That's what if you see in Gita also, you can see that Bhagavan can be day, Bhagavan can be night, Bhagavan can be big, Bhagavan can be small. The opposites will be Bhagavan. So we just now saw that Bhagavan's name is Anu. That is the smallest of everything, subtlest. So in the same way, Brihat means he is greater than greatest in the dimension. That means he is present everywhere. And he is all pervading. That means Bhagavan is infinitude of self. That means Bhagavan is creating infinite beings or things in the universe. That's why he is that much great. Next one is Krisa. Means Bhagavan can be also called lean, delicate or subtle. That means Bhagavan doesn't need much space. That's why he's called subtle. Delicate means Bhagavan, again we say the opposite, delicate and hard. So Bhagavan can be both delicate as well as hard. And he is lean. That can also come as lean and fat. So Bhagavan is lean, delicate and subtle. That's why Bhagavan is called Krisa. Next one is Stula. Stula means just the opposite. Fattest, grossest, roughest. So when we tell about our kids, we always say that they always smile, they always cry. That means they have both the qualities. That's why small babies are considered to be, until they have that 10th day or 11th day, they're considered to be Bhagavan. So they will have all the mixed emotions, but both are equally acceptable to us. That's why Bhagavan can be both dark and light. Bhagavan can be small as well as big. Bhagavan can be in as well as out, because he is everywhere. That's why Stula means Bhagavan is as a pure consciousness, he is the subblest. But as the grossest, he is in the form of the universe. That's why he is called Virat Purusha. That means he is so big, bigger than anything, enormous. Next one is Gunabrin. Gunabrin means Bhagavan supports or Bhagavan maintains as well as expresses 3 gunas. At the time of avatarams, at that time Bhagavan has 3 gunas. So the 3 main gunas are Sattva Gunam, Raja Gunam and Tamo Gunam. So Bhagavan creates in the form of Rajo Gunam. Rajo Gunam is not as pure as Sattva Gunam. It has some mixture in it. That's why Bhagavan is using Rajo Gunam for the creation. And Bhagavan preserves all the creations using Sattva Gunam. Sattva Gunam is considered to be the highest Gunam that any being can have it, achieve it. Next one is Tamo Gunam. It is the annihilate form, that is annihilate. That means Bhagavan takes that form at the time of destruction. Tamo Gunam is considered to be the not acceptable gunam for the beings, because all rosham, krodham, ego and jealous, everything comes in that guna. So Bhagavan's consciousness express these 3 textures of vasanas at the time of avataram, because at the time of avataram Bhagavan is taking a form, otherwise Bhagavan is formless. So Bhagavan, even we have all 3 gunams in us. When you see that at the time when you wake up in the morning, we will be have the most fresh mind, because at sleep, when we are deep sleep, we converse with Bhagavan. Our Atma or soul converse with Bhagavan. That's why when you wake up just from sleep, we will be so fresh and our mind is ready to accept anything. So that time we have Sattva Guna. And as days go by, we will start communicating with others, we will start conversing with others, and we will start connecting with others. At that time, slowly that gunam changes to Rajo Guna. Rajo Gunam is a mixture of good and bad. So what happens at the evening, all our mind will be totally polluted with all the communication and all the egos and all the jealous and all the shouting and fear and all the anger. At that time we have the Tamo Guna. So that's why we always say that we always take a good decision when our mind is fresh after we wake up from sleep. And so usually we do the namam or puja in the morning, because at that time our mind has the Sattva Guna. So it has a great value. So we can keep our mind in the Sattva Gunam till the end of the day, but it is a very big challenge for us. So usually as a normal person, our gunams will be from Sattva Gunam, Rajo Gunam to Tamo Gunam. So in the same way, Bhaga Guna Brid. Guna means all the values. Brid means the mixture of all these gunas. Sattva Gunam, Rajo Gunam and Tamo Gunam. Next one is Nirguna. Guna means all these 3 gunas. Sattva Gunam, Rajo Gunam, Tamo Gunam. Nirguna. Nir means negate. No guna. Bhagavan has all these gunas when he takes the avataram, because he takes a form. But as a a real consciousness form. Bhagavan does not have any guna because he is not messed up with any gunas. He is not contaminated. He is not polluted. So, Bhagavan will be without any properties. So, Bhagavan will be with no matter. He is imperishable. And Bhagavan is unchangeable. And Bhagavan is infinite. And Bhagavan's consciousness always illuminates only these gunas when he takes a form of avatars. And he, as an absolute nature, Bhagavan is formless. That's why again that opposite comes. Gunabrit and Nirguna. Bhagavan can be formless as well as he takes a form when he is created in the universe. We are all take a form because we are the creation of Bhagavan. We have Amsham of Bhagavan. We are a part of Bhagavan. So again, we are the gunas of Bhagavan. Next one is Mahan. Mahan means great, glorious or mighty. Bhagavan is not conditioned by 5 elements. We are all conditioned by 5 elements because we are made from 5 elements. That's why Bhagavan is not limited by time or space. So that's why he's called Mahan. Mahan means above what we can think of. Adrida. Bhagavan is self-supporting. Bhagavan is not supported by anyone, but he supports others. That's why he is called Adrida. Drida means support by something. Adrida means without any support. He supports everything. Like we have a cloth, it is supported by the cotton. The very minute part is the cotton. And it is like our ornaments are supported by gold. Same way, the pot is supported by the mud. Without the basic thing, it cannot exist. In the same way, Bhagavan supports us. He supports the entire universe. And Bhagavan is opening his heart to certainty. When we feel that there is no certain things, or when we do not have any support, when we feel that we are helpless, Bhagavan is always there to give hands to us. And he is giving us plenitude of faith. He is giving us trust. He is giving us motivation. So that's why Bhagavan is called Adrida. Bhagavan is called Swadruda. That means Swa means self. Druda means support. So that is Bhagavan is self-supported. That is the ultimate support of universe is Bhagavan. With him, he does not ask any support. He doesn't take any support. But he is supporting our universe with the help of his own creation, Brahma and Shiva. And Bhagavan, if we ask in Bhagavad Gita also, there is a sentence where Bhagavan says that Bhagavan is supported by his own glory. So, we always ask where we came from. We are coming from certain people, certain person, certain family, certain tradition. But for Bhagavan, he came from his own glory. He has not been created. Next one is Swasya. Swasya means effulgent face. Asya means face. Swasya means effulgent face. That is, he is self-radiant. He doesn't reflect the light of anything. He creates life from himself. That means the beauty or charm is given to the Vedas by Bhagavan. So, we always say that Swasya means of the ultimate pretty, or he can be said as brilliantly beautiful, or enchantingly fascinating, or hauntingly charming. So, Bhagavan is Swasya. His face is that much beautiful and charm and glory that we can get the power by seeing the face of Bhagavan. As a ultimate form, Bhagavan is formless. But we are given Bhagavan a form in the Avadaram so that we have something to focus on. Something we feel that we get energy. So we can just move on to the next level that gives the moksha. Next one is Prag Vamsha. Vamsha means ancestry. Prag means ancient. So Prag Vamsha means ancient ancestry. That means Bhagavan is so much of ancient. That is, he is the cause of universe. Before everything is being created, Bhagavan is there. That is, he has created infinite things or infinite beings. Even the time, before the time was even created, Bhagavan is here. So time is created after Bhagavan, or Bhagavan created the time. So the most ancient form is Bhagavan. So when we think that for moksha, if we all are following the path of dharma, we should have enough space there. So for Bhagavan, he has accommodation or reserved for whoever is coming, or invitees or guests can rest so relaxedly in Bhagavan's heart. That's why it's called Prag Vamsha. That's why we always keep the puja room in specific place. In the house, the first thing we have to see the Kiyak Disai. That is the eastern courtyard of the house, where we consider that Bhagavan is rising in the sun. That sunrise happens there. So that is the beginning of the day. So at that time, the Bhagavan is given all his glory. That's why we say that the early morning light and heat of sun is so special. It gives vitamin D directly. It will not burn us. So that part of the house, the eastern part, is called Prag Vamsha, where all the sacred things happen. We do not do puja in the bedroom. We do puja in the hall, in the eastern part. So each part of the house has certain values. That's why Bhagavan is called Prag Vamsha. Next one is Bhagavan is also called Vamsha Vardhana. Vamsha means the ancestry, the generation. Vardhana means the multiples. So Vamsha Vardhana means having multiples, multiplying the family of descendants. That is giving generations to the family. So the whole universe is created by Bhagavan, and he is creating infinite of the things and beings. So it is all rooted on the love. Bhagavan's attention is not divided. Bhagavan's attention to each and every being is undivided. So the Bhagavan, when created the world, he has given three things: perception, emotion, and thought, which these three things have to be merged so that we have the mind of the waker. Waker means who starts knowing the Bhagavan. So there are three levels that we know. One is deep sleeper, another one is dreamer, and another one is waker. So deep sleeper will never wake. They will never know the power of Bhagavan. They will follow their own way, and they will be in their own way, and they will keep on taking janmas until one janma they will know the value of Bhagavan. Till that they will be in the deep sleep mode. They will never able to know about it. If someone tells about them also, they don't give their ears to them. That's why when we feel that some of our friends or relatives or our kids or someone who is not listening properly, to what we say, we don't continue saying that. We stop at that time and we never take that subject to them because we know that they are not good listener for that subject. So deep sleeper are in their own way and they will never come back to the path of dharma until they keep on taking janmas. Next one is dreamer. So dreamer is always the level where they have a higher opportunity to know about Bhagavan and get moksha. So they have the chance of 50-50 because they can go either to the deep sleep or they can go to the moksha. So we are in that level. We are on the brim of waking. That means we have started knowing about Bhagavan. But once we feel that our mind is steadily going, we get moksha. But one time we start thinking of the because of the Maya and all the surrounding things distracting us, when we think that it is not necessary. I do not want this path. When your mind thinks that, then we go to the deep sleep. Then we have to keep on taking janmas until we find that our way is path of dharma. So we always make sure we always try to learn about Bhagavan, or at least say few namams of Bhagavan a day. That is more than enough to get the moksha. And the third stage is the waker. That means they have already woken from the dream and they are already in the path of dharma. That means they have already used that dharma in their own life. They are showing others the dharma. Those are the rishis, those are the shastrigals, those are the priests, and those are the all the sattviga beings who are telling us, who are guiding us, and who are giving us information about Bhagavan. They are considered to be the pure soul who is taking our hand and leading to the Bhagavan, who is doing upasanas or who is doing parayanams. They give us the positivity. They are the wakers. And that's why we always try to merge our perception, emotions, and the thoughts to a certain focal point called Bhagavan. So we are seeing the names Anu, Brihat, Krisha, Stula, Gunabrit, Nirguna, Mahan, Adrida, Swadrida, Swavsha, Prakvamsha, Vamsha, Vardhana. So we will be reaching the 840th namam of Bhagavan. Anubrihat Krishastulo Gunabrihi Nirguno Mahan Adridaswadridaswashya Pragvamsho Vamshavardhanaka Anurbrihat Krishastulo Gunabrindirguno Mahan Adrida Swadrida Swashya Prakvamsho Vamshavardhanaha.